So for more insight into this developing story, we now welcome Matthew Brodsky, Senior Fellow at the Gold Institute for International Strategy, and he joins us from Washington. Thank you so much for your time, Matthew. So these reports about this dramatic departure in the dead of night from the Bagram base, was there an urgent development that prompted this undercover departure, leaving behind equipment and resources at the base? And also, talk to us about the significance of this key base for the United States.
Look, the base is very important. In fact, America's presence inside of Afghanistan was really doing something to kind of hold China to the east at bay and to hold Iran also on the other side at bay. These make a big difference. Now, the United States pulling out is something that both parties really support. It's part of the endless wars type of rhetoric, but unfortunately, there is a reason that American troops are there. It's to prevent even worst case scenarios from occurring. As leaving the base is obviously a really huge location, very strategic value, and unfortunately, it will go over to the Taliban's hands fairly shortly.
Now, as you alluded to, the Taliban is already advancing rapidly in Afghanistan as U.S. troops withdraw. The withdrawal obviously also providing easy access for terror groups on the ground right now. How do you see things unfolding after that September 11th end date?
First of all, having the September 11th date set as when we withdraw from is a bit of a mistake. But beyond that, on the policy side, look, the fact is Democrats and Republicans are having trouble explaining to Americans what it is we're trying to do in Afghanistan. The way we have a concept of victory or winning in Afghanistan, we're not able to really sell the idea that, look, we're really kind of sticking our thumb inside the dam and preventing a flood from happening. And that's essentially what our policy has been in Afghanistan. It's really, we've given up on the whole nation building aspect, but we do a lot with our presence there. It's great for intelligence gathering. And we are giving that up because basically both sides, Trump wanted to pull out as well, so does Biden now. And it's going to leave a vacuum that always gets exploited by our enemies. We haven't lost, incidentally, a U.S. soldier there in well over a year. So this is something that we can at least afford in terms of human costs, but it's a policy decision.
Now, talking of that vacuum that is being left, as you alluded to as well, the mixed reactions, of course, to President Joe Biden's policy here. Give us a sense, your sense at least, of the long-term impact of this withdrawal on the region and the implications for the rest of the Middle East.
Well, look, we know how our enemies are going to portray it, as though they've managed to kick out the United States. In some ways, there's a bit of a similarity with Israel when it was in southern Lebanon from the 80s up until 2000. It's really an issue where it'll be used as a rhetorical victory for enemies, but it's also going to be something that is used from a strategic perspective. The fact is, we need intelligence gathering capabilities on the ground. It's not good enough to just have air assets in the Gulf region that we deploy. So I know this administration is going to spin it, and frankly, it's the same kind of spin we would have seen from the Trump administration as well. It's just there needs to be an American president who can actually explain to the American people how what the United States does in places around the globe really does prevent worst case scenarios. That's something that I know Israelis understand very well and that I don't think Americans really do.
Well, certainly the whole Middle East will be watching those developments and, of course, that end date, as you mentioned, 11th of September. Matthew Brodsky, Senior Fellow at the Gold Institute for International Strategy, speaking to us from Washington. Thank you, as always, for your insights.
Thank you.